Today on Designing Spaces, we're in studio learning more about home insurance, plus composting made easy, and tips to help you open the front door. Time to design.
The American dream is still and always will be owning your own home and, of course, designing it. But insuring and protecting it, well, that's definitely becoming more challenging, especially in today's economy. The good news is there are still some great options for protecting your home and your pocketbook. Joining me now is the CEO and founder of the third fastest growing private insurer of 2023. That's very impressive. Ken Gregg of Orion 180 Insurance. Welcome to Designing Spaces.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. I know you're a very passionate advocate for affordable and dependable home insurance solutions. Tell us about Orion 180.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here, and I'm glad to be able to speak to it. Orion 180, when I came up with the idea and the concept of starting the company, it was really about solving and bringing a solution to the table for the consumer. And a lot of it was actually improving the experience. A lot of people just do not like dealing with insurance companies. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So for me, when I thought about it and really was designing and building out the business plan, it was about utilizing technology and how do we leverage the technology to build a company that can provide a great experience for the consumer. As well as at the same time, though, bringing competitive coverages, competitive prices to them as well to make sure they have what they need and what they're looking for at a competitive price.
Well, protecting your home, Ken, has never been harder, as you know. Not only have the insurance premiums skyrocketed recently, but in places like California, Texas, Florida, it's almost impossible for some people to get coverage at all, to be honest. So why is that?
It's a multitude of reasons. One, you've got a lot of new events occurring, a lot of bad weather, a lot of the wildfires, for example, in California has been driving a lot of the losses.
Yeah, natural disasters.
Absolutely. On top of that, we're in a situation of inflation. Inflation has driven the cost of repairs up dramatically.
So it is challenging for everyone, including insurers, but other insurers, a lot of them are actually abandoning certain states in the United States entirely. I know that Orion 180 Insurance has a different philosophy on that. Tell us about that.
It might be something that comes from my background. I was in the Marine Corps, so we like to go into it. I find areas that there's people that are in need. So Orion 180 Insurance is coming in to provide a service and a product and a solution, and that's the biggest thing we focus on, is providing solutions to people in those areas of need. The advantage we have is coming in as a new company, a new provider of that solution. We can bring a solution that is essentially tailored to adjust to the market, to the needs today. Other thing I would point out, though, when we enter a market, we don't leave. We're there to stay there. We try to adjust ourselves, and we adjust what's going on with us as a company to the current market.
I want to know how Orion 180 works. Tell me more about how you're able to provide really good and solid coverage for people at a fair rate when so many other insurers can't manage to do that.
We have built our own proprietary technology system from the very beginning, and we rely heavily on data analytics. So we utilize that data and the analytics, and we see what are the big drivers and how can we mitigate some of those drivers of loss. Where most companies traditionally, what they'll do is they'll find an area that's driving losses and they'll either exclude it, and that might be a result that you have to do. Or a lot of times they'll make it ineligible.
Which is wonderful, because you don't want to get insurance and then feel like you're still basically not insured. The things that you think might happen are the things that a lot of companies exclude, which is very interesting that you say that.
You mentioned about not knowing what you have as coverage. That's something we focus on as well, as transparency. We like our consumers to know what they have as coverage. I would also encourage that most insureds and consumers should talk to their agent and make sure, or themselves if they're getting it directly, they should look at their policy to see what coverages they do really have.
What are some of the tips that you have when you're shopping around for insurance? Because I know there are certain risks you can take and certain ones you shouldn't. What can you tell people about how to buy insurance practically?
I'm glad you mentioned about understanding risk and the price that goes along with it. So one of the things I think that most consumers need to look at is how much risk are they willing to retain?
Exactly.
So if they're in a brand new home and everything is fully mitigated, they might be able to retain some more take a higher deductible, and that will save them a significant amount of money. So the higher deductible, the lower the price.
Yes, and I always say try to maintain your home as best as you can, because that will serve you in the end if something does happen.
Absolutely.
And Ken, at the beginning of our conversation, we talked about our perception of insurance. Just to reinforce how important our perception of insurance is, I'm going to share a little bit about my own story with insurance. I want you to watch this. A few months ago, I woke up to this. My house completely, and I mean completely, underwater. But at the time, I had my home updated and it was fully insured, and I even had all of the old pipes replaced to reduce risk. Unfortunately, at the adjoining home where this leak originated, they had done none of those things. In fact, their house was completely uninsured, and in the end, it really cost them. Today, thanks to my insurance policy, my home is under repair and on the mend. Long story short, when push comes to shove, your attitude towards homeowners insurance really matters. So Ken, on that note, is Orion 180 insurance available to people in even higher risk areas, people who live in high risk areas?
In fact, Orion 180 focuses in high risk areas. We're a company that actually, we went there first to actually provide a solution. And
Wow.
we know that's a real big need in that marketplace. And again, that's what we focus on, is bringing solutions to consumers.
Well, in addition to serving homeowners in this very challenging insurance climate, I know that Orion 180 is also passionate about giving back, serving various communities, and I know that that passion is one that we share here. We love our military, and as a former military member, Simplified, I know you share that passion. Tell us what Orion 180 is doing to give back.
Absolutely. It's one of the things that we probably enjoy the most. And you mentioned about homeownership being a dream for the people, right? So
Absolutely.
we saw it as an opportunity with our STAR outreach program to help people achieve their dreams. We've donated over $600,000 to date in those organizations.
And lastly, before we go, as a former military member in the Marine Corps, what do you think your core values bring to the company that you're helping to run?
Discipline, drive, sticking to the point, and bring solutions to the table and solve problems.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Commitment also, I'm sorry.
Very committed, very committed.
Thank you.
Ken, it's wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Where can we get more information about Orion 180 Insurance?
Orion180.com.
And of course, you can find more of this great information at designingspaces.tv.
Great, thank you.
Wonderful, Simplified.
Well, thank you, awesome. Appreciate it.
Does this sound familiar to you? You're in your kitchen, you're doing your food prep with your fruit and your vegetables, and then you take your scraps and you throw them in the disposal or in the garbage can, and then you stop and think, there must be a better way. You're not wrong, because listen to this. Here in the United States alone, we throw away 60 million pounds of food every year, and only 5% of that is composted. Thankfully, today, composting is easier than ever, and here to show us how to do it is DIY mom extraordinaire with a passion for sustainability, Haley Israeloff.
Hi, Judith. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad to have you to show us what to do. So, I know you have a husband and 2 young ones at home, and I know you have almost 1 million followers who have fallen in love with your sustainable lifestyle. Tell us how that translates to the kitchen and food prep and composting.
Well, Judith, let me tell you, I just try to live my life in a way that I can reuse wherever I can. It's why I love to thrift and I love shopping secondhand, giving life to things again.
Wonderful.
And when it comes down to especially food in the home, I have little kids, often they have a lot of food scraps, so I genuinely really love composting, and it's a lot easier than people think.
So I know that when your girls were preschool age, you used the Diaper Genie, and there is now a technology from the same people who created that diaper disposal technology. It's called Compost Genie. So if you're doing a typical breakfast or lunch or even a snack for the girls, how do we compost?
So I love the fact that we have a product like this to have in our kitchen all the time. Think about it, with kids, you got food scraps wherever. So when I go in with anything, I want to create a little snack bowl for them.
Lost an egg.
Yeah. I love that I could just go ahead and take the peels, put them straight into a little compost pile, and then even things like eggs.
Eggshells, right? Which people don't know.
Realize, that eggshells can actually be composted as well. So I would just go ahead, add that to my compost pile, and the best best thing is that my kids love getting involved. So,
oh, they do?
Yeah, my daughter comes in, she loves to step on the pedal of the Compost Genie because it's actually fully hands-free, which is amazing.
So easy, right? Yeah, it's nice to get the kids involved.
For sure.
Especially when it involves sustainability like this. They learn to love the food and to know how to not waste any part of it.
Exactly.
So what about things like pineapple? That seems a little bulky. That can be composted
Yeah,
too?
that can also fit into the Genie so easily. And I'll tell you what, my kids love fruits. So there's always little scraps left from, you know, the stems of even strawberries.
Yes.
Even something like
Cherry pits.
The pits,
Yep.
all of that can be thrown into the Compost Genie as well. And I love that we have things like potato salad. Imagine how much scraps
Yeah,
comes from
there's
that. You got
so
the
much
onions, you got the egg peels, you got the
Yes,
potato
when I make
peels.
potato salad, I have a ton of waste, and I do feel a little bit sad to throw it away.
Yeah.
Do you make a good potato salad?
Oh, you know it.
I do too. Cook off. Even watermelon, so even these rinds, even these heavy things.
You would think, like, what am I gonna do with this? And it also takes up a lot of space in a garbage can in general. And for all the coffee and tea lovers, you always have a ton of this kind of waste.
Tons.
Did you know that you could put that in the compost as well?
I didn't know. I'm a tea person, but I didn't know.
All of it into the Compost Genie. There's so many things that you can compost. It's truly also better for our earth. And I love just keeping it by my side always. Whenever there's any kind of waste, it just goes right into the compost bin. And it just keeps the space so neat and tidy as well.
Do you know how much you can put into the Compost Genie before you have to take the bag out?
What I love is that it actually has the largest capacity of anything out there on the market right now when it comes to a compost bin. So you can honestly, you don't have to keep emptying it out constantly, which is amazing because you don't want to be trekking in and out of the house so often. And the fact that you can just put so much in it before it needs to be changed is awesome.
So it's user-friendly, it's convenient, so stylish. I love the different colors. I love the stainless steel myself.
Exactly. I have an all-white kitchen, so I love that there's a white option as well. It just looks so sleek in my kitchen and is so beautiful, so practical to always have right by your counter as well.
Yeah, very modern and sleek.
Definitely.
Now, I know one of the questions that people often have about composting is the smell, because there's moisture and then the food is in there, so there's odor. How does the Compost Genie work in that regard?
Well, Compost Genie is really great at reducing the amount of moisture that it keeps inside the compost bin. And it actually has a carbon filter, which also reduces odors at the same time. So it's not something you really have to worry about. Like I said, it can hold a large capacity and the smells are kind of contained a little bit better.
So it manages ventilation,
Yes.
so you control moisture and odor.
It's a really, really great system. You have all your meal prep and all of your scraps. You're gonna go ahead and walk it right on over to your Compost Genie. You can just go ahead and dump everything right in.
In it goes. And how do you take care of the Compost Genie?
Well, that's the best part. All of the parts are removable and washable as well, which is so convenient to have in your kitchen.
Very convenient. And when the bag is full, what do you do with the compost?
So at that point, you can go ahead and have it picked up or dropped off. I would recommend just call your local municipalities and they will give you the best solution for you and what will work in your home.
And where can we buy a Compost Genie?
So it's available to shop at Amazon, and for more information, go to compostgenie.com.
And of course, you can also go to designingspaces.tv. And I'm getting a little hungry.
I think we should definitely dig in.
Come on, let's look for something. What do you think?
Oh, strawberries are my
Strawberry
favorite.
for one, yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Let's do it.
Cheers. You're so good.
Good choice.
Oh my gosh, it tastes like home.
Everyone, and welcome back. Today we have another Frontdoor App Fix-It Tip, a special series right here on Designing Spaces. Now, if you're new to the Frontdoor app, it's a great way for homeowners to talk to live home repair experts over video chat for help with some home repair and maintenance projects, whether big or small. We know the Frontdoor app can help with diagnosing and fixing issues around the house. But today we've got some examples for how the app can come in handy that you may not have even thought of and are sure to save you on time, money, or both. The fact that Frontdoor is an app means you have access to a home repair expert in the palm of your hand, wherever you need them. That's a pretty powerful tool you got there. So check out some of these examples. Wouldn't it be great to know what tools or parts you need to get a project done? Avoid aimlessly roaming the aisles of the hardware store when you video chat a Frontdoor expert. Open the Frontdoor app before heading to the local hardware store, and an expert can provide advice on what you'll need to get the job done right. Plus, they'll follow up with notes on suggested tools and parts for easy reference. Can't find what you need? They can also virtually consult with you from the store for real-time help. They say a second opinion is always good, but is it really that convenient and easy? It is with Frontdoor. Video chat with experts with an average of 15 to 20 years experience in plumbing, HVAC, appliance, electrical, and handy person services for help in diagnosing an issue. If you've already received a quote from a contractor, they can also provide a second opinion with unbiased, personalized advice. It's like talking to your super handy neighbor. Looking to buy or sell your home? Sellers can use Frontdoor to prepare a house for market by fixing repairs prior to listing or issues that might come up on an inspection. Buyers can video chat Frontdoor experts for real-time advice during home tours and after closing. Frontdoor experts are there to lend a hand on demand. Whether the home project is big or small, Frontdoor is at your fingertips. You can take it with you to the store, to a home tour with your real estate agent, or to review a quote from a contractor you're considering hiring. Frontdoor is there with the resources that you need. Try it for free yourself by downloading the Frontdoor app from the Apple App Store or Google Play. And you can also check it out on their website, frontdoor.com. Remember, you can also find more information at our website and watch this tip again at designingspaces.tv. So be sure to watch for more Frontdoor app Fix-It tips as our tip series continues right here on Designing Spaces.
For more information on anything you've seen on today's show, or to be a part of the show, go to our website, designingspaces.tv.